Okay.
Okay.
Four. Randy,
Yes, sir.
she's gonna make the nomination.
I'm
Yeah.
starving,
Good for
I'm
you.
sorry.
There's plenty.
I gotta have something.
There's plenty.
Okay.
I thought that was you behind me when I thought you. Oh,
I'd like to call this meeting of the Airport Special Management Committee to order. And if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm going to just do like this.
Just, you set, Randy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first order of business today is a reorganization of the committee. I would entertain any motions regarding the reorganization.
Mr. Chairman, I know that our rotation is supposed to include me this year's chair, but I've already been chair 5 times, 6 times, so I think it's somebody else's turn to finally do that. So I would like to go out of order a little bit and nominate Randy if you would do it for the year.
Thank you.
And can I do the same thing? Okay, I can't do them. Okay.
I'm sorry, did I
I'll
hear a
second
second?
that
A second. Okay, Randy has been nominated for chair of the committee. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would like then to nominate the vice chair, our lovely lady on my right, Robbie, if she will do it for a year.
sure.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, Robbie has been nominated as vice chair of the committee. Any discussion?
Well, then that, Mr. Chair, that would get us some proper rotation then again, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Brian?
Yes, it
Okay.
will.
Because Ray decided not to
Right.
do it.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations for meeting.
Just like
Great job.
Flicker. Thank you, sir. Don't want to break the glass. All right, works. Okay, first off, I want to thank John for his stellar work this year under all kind of adverse situations and everything, the hurricane and missing meetings and just so much we had to do. So I just want to thank you, John. Was there anything you wanted to say as you're leaving?
Thank you very much.
Well, I
Very
spilled
good.
water all over him.
She just
Doused
baptized
him.
me, I guess.
Well, part of getting to heaven. All right, so let's get back to the agenda then. Thank you all for attending today. So we have a presentation today by Brian McGonigal. He's going to, is Brian doing that? The retirement? Oh, James. Oh, James.
Good afternoon. For the record, James Furiosi, Port Authority Maintenance Department. Bittersweet, Richard. Bitter for us, sweet for you. But this sure is, it's a great pleasure and an honor for me to be the one to share with all of you the great contributions that Richard has made to the LCPA, the Maintenance Department, and the airport community over his nearly 34 years of unwavering and committed service to the authority's mission and goals. Richard Keene began employment with the LCPA and the Operations Department October of 1989 after obtaining his Associates in Aeronautical Engineering Technology from Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston and his Bachelor's in Aviation Administration from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in 1985. Over the course of Richard's career with the LCPA, he has held and mastered many positions. He began in the Operations Department as a terminal landside supervisor from 1989 to 91, then an airport operations agent from 1991 to 2004. Richard moved then to the contract side of the Port Authority in 2004 and fulfilled the roles of contracts coordinator, contracts administrator, and Contracts Manager until 2019. At that time is when I was blessed that Richard showed interest and applied for his current position in May of 2019 as our Senior Manager of Facilities Maintenance, where he leads the mission of over 85 team members who are responsible for maintaining the airfield, grounds, terminal, and systems sections of the maintenance department, and provides oversight to an annual budget in excess of $3 million. Over the course of Richard's years of service, his commitment and dedication to the authority's mission and goals have never wavered. Richard is an exemplary employee with a tremendous wealth of institutional knowledge and experience, and he truly is a jack of all trades. His list of contracts, projects, and sectional achievements are immense. We're truly thankful that Richard has shared his experiences and institutional knowledge throughout his career with others. Oftentimes, we see many people slowly begin to retire in place and put things on cruise control as their careers wind down. This is the furthest from the truth for Richard. He knows only one speed, and that's full speed ahead, 110% all the time. Richard is fully present each day he comes to work, is always engaged, remains vigilant, responsive, and very supportive. He has always been extremely loyal, dedicated, committed, and very unselfish with his time. Richard has worked countless times after hours, on nights, weekends, and holidays, and has altered his vacation plans to support projects, emergencies, and natural events like Hurricane Charley, Irma, and most recently, Ian. Richard never shies away from a difficult conversation, a difficult task, or coaching or mentoring opportunity. He leads his sections from the front and has earned the highest level of respect from his employees and peers alike. Richard has never asked any of his team members to do something he would not do himself. And on several occasions, Richard has been found helping contractors complete work, whether it was plumbing repairs, pressure washing a roof, unclogging a toilet, picking up trash, or working side by side in the trenches with members of his teams. Richard's personal file is full of accolades and Aspire nominations memorializing his outstanding contributions to the airport community. He has built, fostered, and maintained positive working relationships with those he has interacted with throughout his career and is a true partner and blessing to me. I will miss Richard immensely, and on behalf of Mr. Siegel, the LCPA, the maintenance department, and our leadership team present here today, wish him nothing short of the happiest, healthiest, and most rewarding retirement that he so richly deserves. Ask the chair come as we present.
I'm gonna have to let the old chair do it.
Old chair.
The old chair. Former.
Richard Keene, Facilities Maintenance, Maintenance Department, October 12th, 1989, March 2nd, 2023. Wishing you on-time departures, smooth landings, and lighted runways for all of your future days. Congratulations on a great career. Enjoy your retirement. I do need to stand up here because I always get the short.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you. Appreciate that. Former chair. All right. Thank you. Very, very richly deserved. Any public comment on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. Anybody have any items they wish to pull?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
I would like to move consent item number 8 to the administrative agenda.
Okay. All in favor of moving 8 to the administrative agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Robin?
I would like to pull item 16, please.
Item 16. You want to pull it for discussion or pull it
Oh,
off
no,
the
I'm sorry.
agenda?
I would just like to pull it for discussion of, there's a method to my madness here.
Okay, and I'm pulling 15 for the same reason. So we'll just move forward with 8's moved, and 15 we'll see what the discussion is.
Mr. Chair, if I may, so
Yes, sir.
so just to make sure we're all on the same page here, 15 and 16 on consent have been pulled for discussion, so I believe you'd want to,
Vote on them separately?
make a motion for the balance of the consent?
Okay,
I'll make a
sure.
motion.
Would that be the
All right,
proper?
somebody got a motion for me for the?
I did.
Okay, Fran, second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we're voting on all items except 8, 15, and 16.
Right.
All in favor of the consent agenda with those items pulled?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So 8,
So,
we're
So-
pulling.
so item 8 is now on the administrative agenda, so we'll address that when we get to the administrative agenda. Emily Underhill can address item 15 right now. That was pulled
All right.
for discussion.
So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We moved 8 to the administrative agenda, so we'll be
We'll do it that
talking
way,
about
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And 15 and 16, we're just going to discuss. So, Emily, if you would, on 15, please.
Yes, thank you. Emily Underhill for the record. Administrative Agenda Item 15 is being pulled because the contract amendment in the original backup material did not call out the time extension. Corrected backup that has been shared with you today adds the time extension language into the contract amendment. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the contract amendment in the amount of $179,180, which also extends the contract term through November 30th, 2023 in order to complete this task.
I will move, for approval for consent item number 15. I'll second it.
All right, Dana seconds. Any more discussion? All right, call a question. All in favor of 15?
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, thank you. 16.
Yes, Mr. Chair, since I pulled that, I have no issue with 16, and staff made it very, very clear on our green sheet as to why it's coming forward. But I just felt it was in the best interest of the whole Port Authority for Attorney Trank to kind of explain and what the expectations will be going forward of our HR policy. Explain why this is here.
Certainly. Committee members, this is a request to adopt a proposed new policy for the Lee County Port Authority Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual. That manual is in the process of being revised front to back. Hasn't been revised in any significant way for, I believe it's 5 years. And so we are embarking on a thorough review and an overhaul. And this is the first policy that's being brought forward for consideration. This policy is the same policy that was adopted by the Lee County Board of County Commissioners back in 2017. And the county felt that there was a void in its policy and procedures in terms of handling these types of issues. And likewise, there is no current policy or procedure that addresses this situation, which is somewhat rare, but it's something that's provided for under state law. And so the county went ahead and adopted it, and we are proposing to do the same. And that you'll probably see that with a number of policies that will be brought forward either for revision or new adoption that come from the county's personnel policies and procedures, which are a bit lengthier and cover some things that, as of yet, we have not done with the Port Authority. So, any questions?
As you can see, Mr. Chair, that's why I just felt it important to notate that out to the public, because I don't want anybody thinking that there's any personnel problems around here, right? They were doing a wonderful, wonderful job. It's just to get it more in compliance with statutes and get it tied, just bring it forward, update, right?
That is correct.
Okay, very good.
Good point.
Any more discussion?
I'll move item, or consent agenda item 16 for approval, please.
All right. Dana will second again. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous? All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to move to the administrative agenda, and we're gonna start with number 8, I suppose.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Any public comment on the, administrative agenda at this time? All right, seeing none? Go ahead, Steve.
For the record, Steve Hennigan. Administrative, previously consent agenda item 8, request board approve a piggyback contract with Motorola Solutions, doing business as EMCI Wireless, for public safety communication products, services, and solution, and for the purchase of radios and other public safety communication services and solutions, and authorize the executive director or designee to execute purchase orders utilizing this piggyback contract for these projects and services not to exceed $120,000 a year. Just want to note that doing so will result in the authority receiving up to a 27% price discount on all of the purchases. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
No.
All right, motion,
So moved.
second. Dana, Mr. Second down here on the left today. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? All right, we'll go with number 17. Brian.
Good afternoon, everybody. Brian McGonigal. Number 17, we're requesting the board approve a third amendment of a lease of hangars at Page Field with Paragon Airplane Leasing Company. Paragon, it's been a long-time tenant, as you know, at Page. They operate the flight school. They need more space to park their automobiles. So parcel A, we're going to increase from 33,000 feet to approximately 43,000 square feet, and the rent will be going from 14,000 to 14,000, approximately 14,500 a month.
A month?
A month. Yep.
Wow. Good job. You guys are tough.
That's for all their facilities. So,
Spots, car spots do we get for that?
how many more will they get? That's a good question. I thought that was. Scott, you don't know that, do you? How many?
That's okay. I take back the question.
I'll have to get back to you.
You said 33,000 square feet, right?
Square feet. It's going.
It's like almost 2/3 of an acre.
Yeah, it's going from.
Lot of
No,
parking.
it's going from 33,000 to 43,000. It's going up 10,000
So
square feet.
10,000 additional.
Okay, they haven't designed it yet.
Right.
So
Just curious.
10,000 square feet will, whatever that gets you.
Yeah. All right.
Once,
A-
I
Any
can
more
let you know.
discussion?
Thanks. Scott.
Motion?
So moved.
Dana moves the item. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. 18.
Thank you. Number 18, we're requesting the board approve an amendment to the lease of TSA office space at the airport with the United States of America. This is, TSA is actually one of our biggest tenants. They've got 9,500 square feet scattered throughout the terminal, mainly in Concourse C. The lease expires in April. We're going to extend it on the same terms for one more year. It's about $104,000 a month. We extend it for another year. Once the once the terminal expansion project is complete, they're going to go in their permanent space, and we'll be back again with another lease. So this gets us another year.
Got a motion?
So moved.
All right. Second? Dana? Thank you. Any discussion? Call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, administrative agenda 19 is request board approve use of a contract between the city of Kansas City and Graybar Electric Company to purchase electrical, lighting, data communications, and security-related products, services, and solutions for Southwest International Airport and Page Field. This will be in accordance with the Omnia Partners Cooperative Purchasing Program, and that's not to exceed $200,000 per year. Any questions?
All right. Motion?
I move the item.
All right, second. John, thank you. All in favor of 19?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? 20?
Item 20, request the board approve an agreement with Christel Company of Southwest Florida to undertake necessary repairs to roof, drywall, and firewalls at various hangars and other buildings at Page Field due to extensive damage caused by Hurricane Ian, with a contracted amount of $957,714. Temporary roof repairs were immediately made at Page Field at various locations. However, permanent repairs must be made in order to prevent further water intrusion and to protect against continued deterioration, as well as to mitigate any potential risks to the facilities.
I'll move the item.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? 21 is Steve also.
That's me. Item number 21, request board hear oral presentations for the operations and management of airport parking and shuttle services at Southwest Florida International Airport at a future ASMC meeting. However, if you do not wish to hear presentations, then we ask that you rank the firms in accordance with the Staff Evaluation Committee recommendation, and we will bring the top-ranked firm to the Board of Port Commissioners for concurrence with the AMC's selection.
All right.
I make a motion that I would like to hear presentations,
Yes,
please.
thank you. Second? All right, I think we're all in favor of that, but let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will hear presentations on that.
And Mr. Chair, you want to order? Yeah, so, Mr. Chair, Melissa's going to ask that you pull for order of presentations.
Yes, if you could randomly select the
Yeah.
order of the presentations.
Okay, the first person will be ABM Aviation,
Thank you.
and the second one will be LAZ Florida Parking,
Does it come out that way every time?
and SP Plus Corporation is the final candidate. Look forward to hearing that. Okay, Emily, Development.
Emily Underhill for the record. Administrative agenda item number 22. The former hydrant fueling facility at RSW is located adjacent to the demolished terminal building on the north ramp and adjacent to property that the Port Authority is attempting to develop with aviation-related uses such as an MRO facility or other similar uses. Following the decommissioning of the associated former hydrant fueling facility or the underground fueling system in August of 2006, a limited closure assessment was performed which revealed soil and groundwater impacts related to the former hydrant fueling system. As a result, a full assessment of the facility was requested by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, or FDEP, in September of 2006. Since then, the Port Authority has coordinated with FDEP to conduct various assessments and respective reporting of the soil and groundwater conditions, and in 2013, the FDEP concluded that remediation was required. A remedial action plan was approved by the FDEP in 2014. Per this plan, numerous multi-phased extraction events were undertaken by the Port Authority. When these did not achieve the desired results, a second alternative, bioremediation, was attempted with several events from 2017 through 2019. A new limited site remedial action plan was prepared in November of 2021, which was approved by FDEP in February 2022. It was determined that where elevated groundwater concentrations exist, contaminants would likely continue to contribute to exceedances in the groundwater if it wasn't removed. As such, the excavation that is proposed under this contract amendment was chosen as the most effective remedial action to finally bring the site to closure with the FDEP. The work associated with this contract amendment will involve an excavation approximately 5,300 square feet in area. At this time, staff recommends approval of this half-acre contract amendment in the amount of $2,355,693.82. Approval of a total project budget in the amount of $3,178,887, and extend half-acre's contract time through November 30th in order to complete this work.
That was a lot. Anybody got any questions about that?
I'm in the wrong business.
Is there any grant funding available for that?
We're having insurance pay for it. Our insurance is covering the costs.
Oh, good.
That makes it better. I'll move the item.
And Dane, I'll second. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Emily, you're up.
All right, next item, agenda item number 23, won't be so long this time. But this agenda item is related to the prior item as it will provide for the necessary technical oversight during the environmental remediation construction. This contract amendment with Stantec, one of the Port Authority's general planning environmental consultants, will perform various planning and logistical duties and conduct construction engineering inspection services and environmental oversight of all the work. They will prepare a remedial action plan, implementation report, as well as a safety plan compliance document, as the work will be airside. Staff recommends that the ASMC approve this Stantec contract amendment in the amount of $272,221.
Okay, any questions?
I'll move the item.
Okay, Fran?
Second.
John, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you so much. Are you up for 24? Go ahead.
I am. All right, administrative agenda item number 24. Late this past year in December, the ASMC shortlisted 3 very reputable construction management firms for further consideration to provide construction-related services for the Terminal Expansion Phase 2 Concourse E Gates Expansion Project at RSW. To help in providing the needed capacity to serve the public and our passengers in the next planning milestone of 2031, this project is a critical step towards the future success of the airport facility. The firm you recommend for selection today will become an integral part of the design team that is already established and will help contribute towards that effort by offering expertise in construction phasing and sequencing, cost estimating, bid packaging for various procurement methods, constructability reviews, and other construction-related topics. All 3 firms, Suffolk Construction Company, doing business as Suffolk, teamed with Wright Construction Group. Second, Turner Construction Company, teamed with DeAngelis Diamond. And third, PCL Construction Services, Inc., are ready to present their resume and qualifications for your consideration this afternoon. Due to the large scale and associated dollar value of these anticipated improvements, we have extended the presentation duration for each firm presenting here today for 15 minutes. So if there aren't any questions, I'll turn over to Melissa to begin the presentations. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
They're all here for this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, another one.
Oh, look at that.
Mark.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Melissa Wendell, Senior Procurement Manager for Lee County Port Authority. As Deputy Executive Director Underhill stated, we will hear presentations today from 3 proposers in increments of 15 minutes each for LOQ 2302 Construction Manager, Terminal Expansion Phase 2, Gates Expansion Project. Each proposer will have their 15 minutes to present, followed by unlimited time for Airport Special Management Committee questions, and concluding with a 1-minute summary from the proposer. So I would like to invite the first proposer, the Suffolk Wright Team, Pete Tufo, President, Suffolk Construction.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Tufo, and I'm the president of Suffolk Construction and proud to call South Florida and Lee County home for the past 24 years.
And good afternoon. My name is Fred Edmond. I'm the president of Wright Construction Group, and I'm excited to have been a resident of Southwest Florida now for 37 years.
Thanks, Fred. So the Suffolk and Wright team is uniquely qualified to be your partner on this project, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Suffolk is a national aviation contractor. We have successfully delivered large-scale aviation projects throughout the country. On top of that, we are also the #1 and largest contractor in Southwest Florida. So when you look at this project and you have 80% of this project is vertical construction and 20% of it is horizontal construction or site work, that is why we teamed up with Wright and Fred.
So to add on to that, Wright Construction being headquartered here now for the last 40 years, we've developed our civil division over 25 years ago now, and over that 25-year period have grown to be the #1 construction management civil construction firm in Southwest Florida.
Thank you. So I'm going to touch on Suffolk's national aviation, and I'm going to talk about Sam Slyman for a second. So Sam is the foremost authority in design and construction of aviation projects throughout the country. Incredibly uniquely qualified to be part of this project. As you see, Sam for the past 27 years has worked on the owner side as well as on the contractor side, successfully delivering over $6 billion worth of terminal expansions and airport projects throughout his illustrious career. And I'm going to turn it over to Sam.
Thanks, Pete and Fred. I'm going to talk a little bit about our aviation experience. We have done projects in Boston International Airport multiple times for a repeated client. We have done work at San Francisco Airport, Dallas-Fort Worth, Palm Beach International, Tampa International, Bradley Airport, and down the street at Naples Airport. We've also done a lot of work for airlines, as you can see up here, and many of these airlines fly out of RSW. Why is this important? We understand airport operation, we understand airline operation, and we can bring that knowledge and that experience to this project. Our aviation experience runs the gamut of every element that you need on a terminal project. We have built baggage system, we have built baggage inspection system, we have built security checkpoint, new terminal, renovation of terminals, and we've done fueling system, support system, all the elements that your project here at RSW would be required to have an experienced contractor building those elements. We not only build these elements, but we know how they operate. So that will be an added advantage to our team to help you with this project. We've done $2.6 billion of aviation work in the last 5 years. As Pete mentioned, 20% of this project is civil work, but it's really the type of the work that would be most impacted to your passengers. It's the roadways and the viaduct in front of the terminal. It's the passenger bridges from the garage to the terminal. It's the ramp and the taxiway. And we needed a contractor and a partner with us that knows how to do this work and done it here at RSW. That's why we partnered with the Wright Construction. They know how to do the MOTs. They've done it in here, and they are proven track record working in public area and making sure that we do the right thing for our passengers. Now I'm going to turn it to Josh to talk about our local presence.
Thank you, Sam. My name is Josh Christensen. I'm the general manager of Suffolk's operations here in Southwest Florida. I was born and raised here in Charlotte County, and I lived in Lee County for the last 27 years, so really proud to be here. As mentioned, Suffolk and Wright have been here for 60 years. We know this community. We do about $600 million here in Southwest Florida. And I'm not just telling you guys that to throw numbers on the board. What that means to you is we know the local trade partners. I've got 20, 30-year relationships with these local trade partners. We do business with about 1,400 subcontractors, vendors, and other providers here locally. So what that means is, along with our national buying power, our aviation accounts nationally, is we can make sure that we're maximizing local participation, maximizing opportunities for local firms, MBE local firms, DBEs, women-owned businesses, everybody. We have those deep, long-lasting relationships, and we really think it's a perfect combination to provide the airport the local flavor to a very important and large-scale job. We do have 250 employees here in Lee County between Suffolk and Wright. So there's 250 people out there working in this community right now who I can promise you are keenly interested in what's going on in this room right now, because they're super excited about our potential opportunity to work at our hometown airport. And then unmatched responsiveness. You know, we all live here. Pete lives here, Fred lives here, I live here. Our support functions do, our warranty people live here, our laborers live here, and everybody in between. So if you guys need something before, during, and after construction, we're a phone call away. We'll wake up and we'll come here and we'll be at the airport in minutes. And it's not just about business. You guys see us out and about, and we're probably on a lot of the same boards and charitable organizations giving to. But Suffolk and Wright both have a longstanding history of giving back to this community. We do it together. We partner together. We have a very aligned interest as far as our community. You know, on September 29th, we all woke up, brushed ourselves off, and started helping each other out right here in Lee County. So we're excited to be part of this airport project, and so are all of our people. Now I'm going to introduce the core project team. Sam, our national director, has handpicked this team. Mike Bowen is the premier project manager for large-scale terminal expansion projects such as this. He's done several of them around the country. He is the foremost authority in projects just like this. Partnering with him on Wright's side, Wright's lead is Andrew Powell. Again, bringing the local flavor. Andrew has spent his entire career here in Southwest Florida, is very familiar with RSW, has done several projects here, again, partnering our local with our national aviation experience. Mike?
Good afternoon, and thank you. I will be your main point of contact from start to finish on this project. I must say the vision you have for this airport is truly exciting. Our promise to you is to uphold the passenger experience, make sure that we do this without disruptions, no loss of gates, no loss of concessions, and we will do this safely and securely. Now, project logistics. Project logistics at an airport, it takes somebody with a passion. I'm that guy. There's going to be over 700 plus construction workers coming through your door every day on this project at peak construction. This is going to require close coordination to make sure that we have the construction routes, deliveries for material, parking, all of those elements that are closely coordinated and will be done down through cargo lane. We'll also need to work closely with the FAA to make sure that we have our crane strategies and our 7460s. Following all airport security protocols. Scheduling is going to be of the highest priority in how we coordinate this. This airport, as you know, has the highest peak season travel in the country. And we are going to deliver this, and we are also going to make sure that, you know, because of the months of November and December, March and April are those key months. We also take the approach of the last flight in, first flight out approach for scheduling work. We're going to have to coordinate with the hydrant fueling contractors, the TSA, to name a few. Collaboration with Atkins and your designer, coordinating with Emily and Hector and their teams. These are going to be keys to success. For example, you're going to have over 100,000 cubic yards of concrete placed on this project. And in order to save time and budget, we think that you might have to place a concrete batch plant here on site. So those are things that we'll need to collaborate and talk about to make sure that we can place that correctly. Buyout and early procurement. In our phasing plans, we have some ideas that we want to put forward that will help in progressing the main part of the project forward. In order to do that, we need to do some early procurement for like hydrant fueling pits, chillers, aircraft docking systems, things of that nature. Now, safety. You can't say enough about safety. We understand that you had a record-breaking 10.3 million passengers travel through this airport last year. That's exciting. Safety starts day one. We will develop a project-specific safety plan tailored specifically for this project. That will incorporate all stakeholders. That will make sure that we include airport operations, airlines, construction workers, and most importantly, the traveling public. Now, our project approach and our phasing hasn't changed since we submitted our proposal, which was ranked #1 by your staff. We have continued to develop this, and we have put together a video that you will see shortly. We even commissioned a full 3D model, 3D printed model of the entire airport that will use these tools for communication throughout the life of the project. Next, I'm going to walk you through our video. So as you can see, where you've already picked up where Manhattan will have completed their work on your work they're doing currently. We will capture at the end of Concourse D for gates D2 and D4 to be relocated. Simultaneously, landside construction will be captured here. As these gates are now closed, we're already working on our foundations. We will then capture this area here for the expansion of the terminal. You can see construction, parking, and access. Here you see the structure for Concourse E and the terminal expansion. Again, all landside for material deliveries and equipment. These two will meet in the middle. And then as you can see, our structure is completed. We will start with the flooring, start with the structural enclosure for the roof. And then we will start on the viaducts. Some work you can't see that's taking place will be in the at the chiller plants and the loading dock area. But this sorry. Anyway, on the video that you would see, as it comes around, you will see the video for the terminal and which is right at the entrance to your, at your front door. That work will take place for approximately 2 to 3 years. So we have to be very careful about how we schedule that and coordinate that with all the right maintenance of traffic. Make sure that we have the signage so that your traveling public knows exactly where they're going, have the true separation. Again, as you see again, moving forward with the construction. This is enclosed. We also have, did it again. Here, I'm going to let you go, Sam. Okay. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Just we're gonna advance it a little bit. Oops. It's okay, just go back to the. Okay, so again, the section that you'll see in your iPad, it shows the whole development of the project, and we are very much concerned and have a plan for all the bridges that will be installed and the roadway in the front of the terminal. That would be all doing good. Now, as coming from the owner perspective, the biggest thing that we want is the last element of the project, the training, the testing, the commissioning, and ready for operation. We'll develop a plan to do that and make sure that that plan is implemented, and we can talk about it in the question and answer period. We have many other operating procedures that we do into every project. I'm going to talk about the weather and hurricane preparedness plan. We will do that plan and we will practice it. We'll do tabletop exercise with our trade partners, and we will develop that plan on a continuous basis, making sure that it's reflect the job and everything going on. And we also have TSA testing acceptance. We know how to do that, and we can do that. Finally, Thank you for allowing us to present our project. We feel that, we truly believe that with our national aviation experience and being the #1 local contractor in Southwest Florida, we're the right team for this project. And we hope that you allow us the opportunity to work with you to keep RSW as the best airport in the nation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Questions?
Could you just give me a rough idea of how you're going to do the scheduling vis-a-vis the, particularly, traffic during the day? Air traffic to begin with.
Yep. So, a couple of things. When you look at our project approach, we have developed it into two different areas. One is we know that your project needs to be done in 3 years. So and we don't want to take any gates, right? So we develop the gates in the beginning for replacement of gate D2 and D4. After those gates are done, then we take the gates. So there's no impact to any gate operation.
Okay.
That's one. Two, to be able to do that and keep the 3-year schedule, we already started the work on a line side on the pier, and we did not wait for the gates to be stopped. When we have the 2 gates at the end of the pier, the D, then we can take gates 2D and D2 and D4 and move our construction there. That way, we have almost cut out of the project 6 months by not waiting for the gates to be completed, because we're doing work simultaneously. At the same time, we will be ordering the 1,500-ton chillers, because we need one additional chiller in the center chilling plant. We install that, we make it operational, then we can replace the other 3 chillers in the center chilling plant one at a time without impacting any of your project and any of your facilities. A lot of the work that we're going to be doing on the terminal is going to be landside, will not be impacting the terminal operation as exists today, because, like I said, we replaced the 2 gates. Now, when we get to the land side, that's where the challenge happens. We have to do work in the roadways, and we got to do the work on the bridges. Our plan is to build the bridges first for 2 reasons. We start from the end of the terminal, as you can see in here. The first bridge that we install will be the first bridge that comes in. And the reason that we do it that way, because you need to have cranes that sit on the lower roadways, beside the lower roadways, to pick the trusses and put them between the garage and the terminal. And we do that one at a time, coming in to the end of the terminal. Now, at this stage here, we finish the bridges. We move all the passengers to use the bridges between the garage and the terminal and the garage, so we can take the existing bridges, the uncovered one right down from the garage, and build the roadway. This way, we just moved all the passengers away from the construction, and we were able to do that. Now, a lot of work going to happen during nighttime. So we will work with the operation for, you're an O&D airport, as you know, origin destination airport. You got your first flight bank in the morning, you got the last flight bank at night. I understand that. That's what Logan used to be. I was 27 years in there as a director of capital program. I managed all this work. So what happens there is that we will work with the operation people. When the last flight comes in and no more passenger, we'll close the roadways and we open it before the first flight out, obviously given time for the passengers to come in before the flight. So there will be certain amount of time during the night that we can do some work without impacting the passengers. This is all would be worked out during our pre-construction work with the staff and with the authority and with the designer to make sure that we don't impact the stellar passenger experience that you guys and this airport has, and that make you the best airport in the nation, rightfully so.
We're already the best airport. in
That's
the
what I
nation.
said, because that's rightfully so, right?
Okay, so the other question I have is you mentioned something about, I don't remember if you phrased it as putting your own cement
Yes.
plant, if I will, there. But,
Concrete batch plant.
so tell me a little bit about what that means.
Okay, so so the ramp area over here, this ramp area over here, that's all concrete. That's about, depending on what the design is, it's about a 12-inch to 17-inch deep, thick concrete. And also you got all the foundation, you got all the, roadway concrete. So when you're talking about how much concrete is gonna come in here, it's over 100,000 cubic yards. Now, a concrete truck can carry 8 yards.
Correct.
So that's over 12,500 trucks of concrete that's
That's
gonna
where
come in here.
That's where I'm headed at. So,
Right.
all right, so you got, I understand.
Yeah.
I like that part of it, you're keeping
Yeah.
traffic off the roads,
Exactly.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But you also have to haul in sand and cement and all that stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
what's the offset?
The offset is probably, I would say,
You need about 2 acres,
Right.
acres for the batch plant to
Right.
make it, but just a bit above. The offset, standard rule of thumb is about 80,000 cubic yards is the break-even point as to when you contemplate whether or not you use a batch plant. So right at 100,000, we're in, obviously the market is hot around here. Truckers are at a premium. If you look at the challenge around concrete in the area, it's less about aggregate at this point as it is about truckers. So having your own batch plant close, we partner with one of the local distributors, get guaranteed trucks, guaranteed truckers, guaranteed quality control, and now we control our own destiny as opposed to being tied to all the other projects in the region. So that's why we're thinking, and again, this is stuff we would work through with Emily and Hector and her team, but it's a thought, and it could help us control our own destiny and get the concrete here in the quality we need.
Where do you propose the aggregate comes from?
Well, we would work with Preferred Materials or one of the other ones as to where they're getting their aggregates. I know there's a new mine that was bought out in LaBelle that they're pulling aggregate out of there as well. There's down at Alico, I know they're running a little short right now. So again, depending on the exact timing of it, when we need it, there's a lot of EPA submissions and permits that you have to go through to get that. But with the long gestation of the pre-construction period, it's certainly something that we'd sit down with staff and figure out if it's right for this project. What's the economic value? What's the quality control value, and what's the value of keeping trucks away from our site?
and also we could buy this material early, whenever we feel that it's a better price to buy it and store it on site, and be able to have it trucked to the site off hours, so we're not impacting anything. But when you have concrete, you have to have the concrete right there within 90 minutes. You gotta pour it with the hot weather and everything else. We think that this idea have merits, at least to be discussed with the staff and see if it makes sense or not. We just not, this is what our construction manager is all about, is to make sure that we give you ideas that can work, and we can cut the cost, make sure that the project is on schedule, and be able to have the quality.
I'm done.
All right, I get it about the batch plant. It saves us money, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but with the current condition of supply chain and everything, how's all that gonna impact this when every piece of this is kind of mission sensitive? And talking about the amount of time it takes to build that.
Yep.
How's that gonna figure in?
Yeah, and that's where in the pre-construction period, so if we're so lucky to become your partner right now, that's meeting number one, let's bring somebody in, let's talk through the permitting process to actually get the batch plan, when that would actually be functional, tested, QA, QC'd, to make sure if it aligns with the start date of the project. So the start date's kind of, it's in flux right now. So we're trying to figure out if it would work. We really do think it will, especially with a longer than 12-month pre-construction process. We feel it's definitely enough time to get that done.
But even beyond that, I think your question was about how all the other material and and talking about supply chain, right? So because we are the biggest contractor in Southwest Florida, we have significant trade partner relationship. We know what they have. We know where to get the material. And we're also a national contractor in aviation. We know all the suppliers of the jet bridges. We know all the suppliers of the baggage system. We've worked with them. We have relationship with them. We can bring all that information and all that knowledge and all that relationship to this project. Pete, can you talk a little bit about the trade partners in here?
Yeah, so this is one of the largest, if not the largest project to hit this region.
Largest.
Right, so when you think about it, you take that 1,400 trade partners that we say that we work with in the region, when you start narrowing down the size of those, the companies that could actually have the workforce to be able to deliver this, that's where those relationships, Josh and I spent our entire career in Southwest Florida, as well as Fred, building these relationships with the larger trade partners. That also ties to, if you look in the region with us being the largest contractor, we have those deep relationships. We know start dates and end dates of the other projects that would require those resources. So we're not getting snowed as to who the foremen are going to be. That is really one of the biggest components on any job with the trade partners, guaranteeing who your foreman, your superintendent, make sure those people are going to be here and committed throughout the job.
So is that, Mike is our project manager on this, right? You guys are back office, really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how much aviation experience do you have?
Me personally?
Mike, project manager.
That's what I've been doing for almost my entire career, for 30 years.
Just, and so you'll be the face every day with our staff, and
Correct.
so you feel comfortable, you can fill
Absolutely.
this on time with the help of
Absolutely.
these guys?
Absolutely. I've done these types of projects, like Sam alluded to, as far as the types and elements in this. I've done every single aspect, from baggage handling, apron paving, terminal expansion, concourses, renovations. Yeah,
I'm not
I've
picking
touched
on
every
you. I'm
element.
gonna ask them all the same thing.
As far as, I'll say Florida and Fort Lauderdale to Terminal 1 expansion. We had a concourse expansion. We had baggage handling. We modified the existing terminal.
Super. All right. Any other questions? All right, we thank you guys. This is excellent presentation.
Well, thank you. And as you can see, the team is incredibly excited about the opportunity to be your partner, and incredibly prepared. So you saw the virtual model that we did. If you saw the written narrative that we put together to get ranked #1 in the book, that was all about the approach that you heard Sam talking about. We also built the virtual model so you can go see, touch, and feel as we start talking about logistics. Now, that's all the business side of this. I want to touch personally. I lived here for 24 years. This isn't just business for us. This is personal. And as the person that will sign the contract with the Lee County Port Authority, I want to let you know that you have the full commitment of me and Suffolk if we're selected to be this project.
And to piggyback on that, Wright Construction, having been headquartered in Southwest Florida now for 40 years, this is our community. This is where every one of my employees has lived. I've got 20, 30-year plus veterans that are working for me. We're involved in the community in so many different aspects. So with that commitment to our community, Pete and I personally are giving you our commitments to ensure that this project is a success for the Lee County Port Authority.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Very good.
Questions from the audience?
Do they get after a presentation? No, I don't think so. They have to comment at the beginning of the agenda. We'd really open up a can of worms. Ice is in there, it's going over.
Keep drinking those, you're gonna have to take a break. Keep drinking those, you're gonna have to take a break.
Damn.
Supposed to be Florida, not Alaska.
This is one is.
Oh, thank you. Must be new in the industry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We got it all today.
Where are they from? They are headquartered in an office here?
All right, for the record, my name is Melissa Wendell, Senior Procurement Manager for Lee County Port Authority, and at this time I would like to introduce you to the second presenter today. Jay Frazier, Senior Vice President for Turner Construction Company, is going to kick off the presentation on behalf of Turner DeAngelis.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Going?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're on.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Frazier. I'm a Senior Vice President with Turner Construction Company. I've been with the company for 37 years, and for the last 7 years have been leading and managing our airport building group. Together with John DeAngelis, leading DeAngelis Diamond, our partner in this endeavor, our project management leaders, Margaret Simone and Josh Willard, our pre-construction leader, Kurt Smith, and our baggage handling systems expert, Mike Smith, we want to thank the committee for having us here this afternoon to present our qualifications. In front of you is a placemat and an e-brochure that has some data that supports our message today. There's our team. And before Margaret and Josh go into a kind of a comprehensive look at our approach to building the project and solving the challenges of the projects, we wanted to spend just a couple of minutes confirming the strength and experience of our team, the firms, and our project leadership. The request for letters of qualification was very specific in that the port was looking for a national airport terminal builder and a local Southwest Florida builder. And that's exactly what we've provided. More than 20 years ago, Turner Construction Company established itself as a national airport terminal builder when, in response to the events of September 11th, we successfully installed systems, equipment, and security checkpoints at every commercial airport in the United States, approximately 450 locations. Fast forward to the last 2 years, 21 and 22, in 5 cities, Los Angeles, Denver, Washington, D.C., Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale, we successfully completed almost 5 million square feet of terminal and concourse work and opened 60 gates. This is what we do. This is what our group does, is focused on that. We knew we needed a strong Southwest Florida building partner, again, to be responsive to the solicitation, and we didn't spend 5 minutes thinking about it. The answer was very clear. It was DeAngelis Diamond, and we called them.
Thanks, Jay. Good afternoon. I'm John DeAngelis, principal in charge for DeAngelis Diamond Construction, a company that I co-founded 27 years ago right here in Southwest Florida. We have 200 team members, 1,200 of whom live right here. We've done over 1,200 projects and $3.5 billion of construction in Southwest Florida to date, including the most beautiful air traffic control tower and TRACON facility in the world here at RSW, and I'm not biased, I'm sure. We've also done work at all of the Southwest Florida airports, including Naples, Immokalee, Marco Island, Page Field, and the terminal and gate expansion at Punta Gorda. Because generosity is part of our culture, our team has volunteered nearly 3,000 hours of community service over the last 12 months, serving Naples, Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Bokeely, and the surrounding areas that were most impacted by the hurricane. Our Margaritaville Beach team on Fort Myers Beach, for 3 weeks after the storm, served meals to first responders and cleanup crews. Well, you all were just selected as the best airport in the country. Congratulations, we agree. And we think you deserve the best construction team in the country as well. As the largest locally owned construction company in Southwest Florida, we have been honored to have been selected the last 9 years as the commercial builder of the year in Southwest Florida. We are also blessed to be teamed with the largest contractor in America, Turner Construction, not just because they have the most aviation experience than anyone in the world, but because their mission, values, and culture align with ours. We believe that the strength of our team is unmatched, and it starts with our lead project manager, Margaret Simone.
So I'm very enthusiastic about being here today and the opportunity to talk about this project because I feel like I've been preparing for this for the last decade. My experience at Fort Lauderdale Airport, I've had other experiences at other airports, but it's my experience here um, working on projects just like this that is like a third of my 33 plus years with Turner Construction. And I believe that makes me uniquely qualified for this project. The scope of Terminal 2 and Terminal 4 at Fort Lauderdale with the concourse expansion, the renovations of the terminal, the apron and taxi lanes, the baggage handling system, the pedestrian bridge, and a $600 million volume, and simultaneously working on exactly these same delivery methods makes this program tailored to my experience. My partner in this endeavor is Josh Willard.
Good afternoon, I'm Josh Willard. I'll be the leader for DeAngelis Diamond and Margaret's partner on this project. I've been in the construction industry here in Southwest Florida for over 20 years, and I've completed several projects right here at RSW over the last 10 years. Most recently, the taxiway apron expansion and the air traffic control tower, both of which are two of the first projects in this incredible expansion that we have going on here at RSW. I'm also currently aiding in the pre-construction effort at the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. I've been a Southwest Florida resident for over 30 years. So most of the adventures that I've had with my family actually started and ended right here at this airport. So this project, this airport, are very personal and important to me, but I can't do what I do without superior pre-construction, so I'm going to turn it over to Kurt.
Thank you. So my name is Kurt Smith, and I'm with Turner for 32 years. I'm a pre-construction manager, so I'll be overseeing the estimating and the bidding process. So there's three key points that I'd like to talk about today. First is that we understand the project is not funded yet, so you're going to need our support in developing various conceptual budgeting and exercises in order to facilitate the funding requests and establish your target budget. And we're ready to do that. Furthermore, I've done that successfully for over the last 7 years on over $2 billion in airport projects like this, so that I'm confident I can successfully deliver that for you on this project. Once we've established the scope and the budget for the project, we're committed to collaborating very closely with LCPA and the design team to make sure we stay on budget. Okay, we know that's critically important, and we're going to do that using the target value design process. Second, we're going to leverage our relationships in the Southwest Florida market to select the most qualified and most cost-competitive trade partners in the market, and while also focusing on maximizing participation of local subcontractors and the local workforce. And finally, we understand the risk inherent in the supply chain market. Everybody's talking about that. It's very well known. So through Turner's Source Blue procurement organization, we're going to leverage our national relationships with major mechanical and electrical equipment manufacturers to get you the lowest possible price on the equipment and the shortest possible durations on the lead times, which will help maintain your project schedule.
So when we start construction, safety is the first thing that we put in front of us. Safety is paramount on any project, and on any aviation project like this, it's even more critical. Because of that, we have a full-time safety manager that's going to be assigned to this project to ensure that all safety protocols and all airport protocols are followed every day. We're going to have hurricane preparedness plans in place. When the hurricane hit, we were ready. And as John mentioned earlier, we were there right afterwards to take care of that, take care of things. Excuse me. There's nothing more important to us than making sure our families go home every single day.
As the largest GC in the country, we believe that we are the most innovative construction company in the world. We use traditional communication platforms like Procore and technology for coordination like laser scanning and building information modeling, but we also bring our National Innovation Technology Group, which is dedicated to transformational advancements shaping the future of our industry and delivering new value to our clients. One example of this is in the video is Spot, who's a robotic dog. Spot can run through the project, survey existing conditions. Those conditions are then uploaded into the model and used for our coordination in the field. Useful technology applications like this result in a product that's fully coordinated. We keenly understand the importance of LCPA's priorities, and we've developed a specific plan the majority of it being airside, in order to maintain continuous airport operations and maximize the passenger experience while being on time and on budget. The project has many components that touch a lot of different areas of the airport, and we've assembled a team that has experience in each aspect of the work, and you can see that on your placemat. We've also detailed a schedule that includes every component of the work, and we have a video of our project approach, and at the bottom of the video you can see the timeline of that schedule. Right now we would like to focus, however, on our project operational plan for the terminal.
So right out of the gate, the first thing we're going to do is set up our job site office complex. This is going to be a co-location for our team as well as the LCPA consultants. That way we're one cohesive unit on site full time. We're also going to set up a bypass route for all the construction traffic. We're going to do this in such a way that it does not impact traffic in or out of the airport, so the passengers can come and go without any impact. We're going to establish a landside operation for Zone 1. As you can see here, we've got an AOA security fence set up, which is the airside operation fence. This will be set up in such a way so that we could actually access our job site from the land side without impacting the airside service road and the continuous airport operations. At this point, we'll start the modifications for the relocations of gates D2 and D4. Much like the ticket counter modernization, we're going to do our best to make sure that LCPA and the carriers are coordinated with on a regular basis through regular meetings so everyone knows what's going on at all times.
By relocating D2 and D4 to the end of Concourse D, we make way for the terminal connector portion of the project, or what we're calling Zone 2. We convert that to landside and also continue to advance the work in Zone 1, which we soon start going vertical, as you can see.
So as you can see, the vertical structure is well underway at this point. We'll also be starting the new taxiway work, which will tie into the existing apron. We're going to do this work in such a way after hours, so that way we're not impacting airport operations in any way. We want to make sure the airlines can get to their gates, and we're not impacting anyone. Also, you'll notice that the pedestrian bridges will be starting right around this point to make sure that we're able to support the new passenger traffic flow as this project gets completed.
So I want to emphasize why Zone 1 and Zone 2 is important, because we plan for an option to turn over the new gates 8 months early and prior to the peak 2026 season, which starts in October. Our plan with this option is to provide a new concourse early, with the concourse as an extension of Concourse D within the new construction of the Zone 2 expansion. Because we'll be working on adjacent areas, we know we need to be invisible to the passengers, so we will be working behind temporary partitions like this, which we used in Fort Lauderdale, which eventually became the airport standard. For Concourse E to open 8 months early before the project is complete, we need to make sure that all critical systems are operational. And this is a collaboration effort that we look forward to discussing with LCPA.
Another critical phase of the work will be the new pedestrian bridges. In some ways, we understand that this is going to actually be just as impactful as the new concourse. We're aware that considering this airport, has 4.2 times as much traffic in March as it does in the off-season, that this is critical for passenger safety. We're going to handle this similar to the way that we handled the pedestrian bridge over Estero Parkway on Fort Myers Beach for the Margaritaville project. We're going to make sure this is done off-season, off hours. We're going to make sure it's done after the passengers have left in the evening, so our work will be compressed, but we're able to do that in such a way that it's scheduled for efficiency and safety of the passengers.
So at this point, the project and the animation is complete, but we want to focus on the critical systems that happen, say, back of house or out of view, one of those being the baggage handling system.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Kessler. I'll have oversight of all the baggage handling work happening here on the project. I've been tasked with bringing my lessons learned from over 25 years experience in the baggage industry to this project. Currently, I'm a member of TSA's PGDS committee, and for those who don't know, it's a program guidelines and design standards TSA uses throughout the country on how to build baggage handling systems. And I spent the last 10 years with Turner tailoring processes and procedures specifically for baggage handling projects. And most recently, we were able to save San Diego $45 million in baggage costs alone just on the procurement using those processes and procedures.
Thanks. So fun fact, RSW employs over 60,000 people in this community. Why is that important to us? Because it's our commitment as a national and local firm to employ the local subcontractors in our market and continue to support that growth. Our team will work with Julio and his team to make sure that we ensure that we make all the DBE goals, excuse me, that we've set, and all procedures are followed.
So to further support our commitment to the community and development, we've brought Christine and Fareed here in the audience, DBE certified contractor and director of our community and citizenship. One of the ways that we want to share our project with the public is to offer video renderings via QR codes that we can put on kiosks and share the progress of the project with the community itself.
With that, we know we're right up against the time limit. We appreciate your patience and your attentiveness, and we look forward to a Q&A
Okay.
period.
Anybody got any questions?
Yes, can you just expand a little bit on how you're planning on scheduling in terms of not only the internal air traffic, but also the outside, auto traffic, commercial traffic, auto traffic?
I'll take a stab at that by just starting with this. With as much terminal and concourse work as we do and as important as we think it is, we're in second place to the operations of the airport. We totally get that, right? The safety of the passengers, the public, the aircraft, we're in second place. So everything needs to be closely coordinated with those efforts. In terms of doing that, one of the most significant things, and I think Josh hit on it, and I'd welcome either Josh or Margaret to expand. One of the most significant things is making the majority of this project landside. So we're buffering ourselves, if you will. We're still obviously up against active airport operations, but we're buffering ourselves and making it a landside project. But with that, we do know there will be points where we have contact with active air operations. Do you want to expand?
Absolutely. Where we tie in the existing aprons, into the existing apron, excuse me, that's going to obviously be somewhat impactful at first sight. But doing it after hours, making sure we've coordinated everything up front with Hector and Emily and Adam and their team, making sure that that's done in such a way that it's not impacting any of those flights after last flight. Maybe we can use use taxiway alpha, cut across the runway. I know that's not ideal, but we've had to do it in the past. Also, the the pedestrian bridges, obviously that to me is more impactful to the public than anything else. So making sure that we coordinate that in such a way that it's, again, off season, off hours, so that way we're setting those bridges in such a time that we're not impacting that passenger experience.
Talk to me about the traffic outside the airport while you're bringing in material and what have you.
That is a fantastic question. We plan on coming in through Alico Road, down the Hall Road. We will have to cut across traffic, but the idea is to come around across traffic and down in here through our, right by the existing chiller plant. So we'll have a cut across, but we won't be driving through the departure lanes or the arrival lanes in any way. It'll just be a cut across to get there. Another option is to come in off of Daniels, the back way through the Skyplex and around that back road. Whatever would be the most efficient and the least impact.
Okay. Anybody else? I was intrigued by Mike. I didn't realize that if we build a Concourse E, are we building new baggage bays and everything as part of this project?
Yes. What we looked at was the verbiage in the scope of work with expanding ticketing, a new Cibra, which are the check baggage inspection systems, check baggage reconciliation area, which will require additional TSA folks as well. So we'll incorporate all that into our plan and make sure that during our testing commissioning, we have the TSA folks in there for the training that they're going to need. So we've got a good turnover there.
Does that then expand where we go now to get bags? It will expand it toward the west, I guess, and add X number of bays where the luggage actually comes up and goes around the belt?
Yeah. So what'll happen is once the bags are screened in the new area, they'll head out to sortation out to where the new aircraft or new gates are, to those makeup units for the tugs, just to pick the bags up very close to the plane. So it's a lot less tugging for the airlines.
And ease of retrieval for the passengers, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah. So you're talking about the inbound bags
Well,
for
yeah,
the claim
so-
devices? Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So it'll be all on the same side, and so they're not going to have to traverse all the way across the airport to get their bag. They'll be able to stay on the same side of the airport. Yeah.
And that's your specialty.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, second thing, the supply chain issues. I mean, right now, I'm hoping by 27 that's cured, but you know, just the whole thing, how do we see that as impacting us?
Well, it's a great question. It's been a significant issue, right, since the quarter one 2020, when the pandemic impacted the world. For years, contractors have been buying major mechanical and electrical equipment direct, and we've been one of them because this equipment has gotten so sophisticated and large and time to manufacture and deliver that it often doesn't fit within the schedule. And when you couple the schedule challenge with a pandemic and even more difficulty in retrieving in getting this equipment, the buy direct program really works. Well, 20 years ago, we were buying so much mechanical and electrical equipment to support our projects and other major items that we formed a group that does nothing but direct purchase, Source Blue. Last year, you see on the bottom left there, we purchased $600 million across the country, $600 million worth of MEP and related equipment for projects. An example of that, you know, airports in Florida as well as Denver. Denver Airport, we turned over 4 gates on time in late 20, so right after the pandemic started. And then the second phase of the project, 14 more gates in late 22. On time through the pandemic. How did we do that? Source Blue brings us to the front of the line. We buy directly from manufacturers like Westinghouse, General Electric, Carrier, Trane. And so we get a kind of a preferred seat at the table, which provides huge advantages for time and money. So that's one way we're doing it, and then just early planning, right? Because the supply chain has been crippling for a lot of folks out there.
You're saying your company's so big that you have a company that just buys stuff that you know you're going to need?
A group of people that specialize in that. And in addition to procurement, they are also well versed and knowledgeable in the mechanical and electrical systems that make up an airport building.
Wow,
So
pretty impressive. Let's see, Margaret, you're really the property manager, and all these other guys, except for him, they stay in the background pretty much, right?
Yes.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
the face that's going to work. But you're the lead project manager, and you're the face that's going to meet with our staff and every day.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel comfortable that you can build this airport?
100%.
All right.
That's it. I mean, I really do. I really feel like I was the lead executor on the other projects that I discussed earlier in the presentation. I did a $600 million worth of work simultaneously, and those projects were very successful. The different delivery methods, depending on the funding sources, we can adapt to that. We've done that. I've done that. And it's staggering to think that a third of my career was spent doing projects just like this. 33 years I've spent all with Turner. So, yeah, I'm actually really psyched. When I said I was enthusiastic, I really meant it. I'm really psyched to do this job. Oh, good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Robbie?
so Margaret, how many terminal projects have you done in Florida?
3.
3, okay. Have you done any in the southwest quadrant or South Florida area?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I have not, but I believe, the partnership that we've created with DeAngelis Diamond and Josh's experience at the airport, I think that marriage, so to speak, of our collective experiences really brings value to this program.
And Robbie, she's done a substantial amount of work on the East Coast, South Florida, just not the West Coast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? John?
I have a question for John.
Yes, sir.
We talked about equipment, we talked about materials. I'm a little concerned about labor,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming as the local contractor,
Yes, sir.
you are familiar with that. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you're gonna handle that? Because there's not
Yeah.
a lot of people to be gathered anymore this is probably the largest project, I think it is the largest project you're gonna have in Southwest Florida for some time. How are you gonna get the people?
Yeah, it's one of the largest projects in Southwest Florida for sure. So that labor has been an issue, as you know. Labor inflation has been an issue over the last couple of years, especially. But we have such great longstanding relationships with the trade partners here in Southwest Florida. Truly, uh, we have built the work that we've done in Southwest Florida. We can tell you that none of it has been completed even a day late. All the work that we do is on schedule or ahead of schedule. We built if you're familiar with the Arthrex project in Naples, it's 1.1 million square feet. It was $220 million single contract. Had a hotel component, 1,500 garage space, parking garage, a conference center, office building, et cetera. More than 16,000 cubic yards of concrete, more than 3,000 tons of steel. We did that project in 22 months. Our contract was 24 months. We finished it 2 months early. We could do that because we get preferential scheduling from our subcontractors. They know us. They prefer working for us. We not only pay our bills on time, but we schedule them in such a way that they're efficient on the projects. And I think that's really key when you have a terrific team of experts that are truly looking out for the best interest of not just the client but also the trade partners on the project, and not heavy-handed beating everybody up, but collaboratively working together to accomplish a common goal. You have a reputation, you have a culture that people want to excel for you. And that's been the case for us, honestly. As I said, 9 of the past 10 years, we've been the Commercial Builder of the Year in Southwest Florida. And that is a great tribute to our team. We think we have the best team in construction here in Southwest Florida. So it will not be a problem, I can tell you that.
John, you're the minority partner in this
Correct.
venture.
Yes, sir.
What's the largest project DeAngelis Diamond has done in Southwest Florida?
Well,
vertically.
the one I just mentioned was $220 million that we completed a couple years ago, which was Arthrex, and we do a number of projects that are in that range, 160 million, 140 million. Our annual revenue is around 400 million. This year we'll do about 480. But that's our average revenue over the last 4 years is around 400 million. So those projects are smaller and also larger. But the most recent one I can point to is the Arthrex project. Margaritaville is around $100 million on Fort Myers Beach.
And that's kind of hard, isn't it?
That's been a struggle. The storm really set us back about 6 weeks, but our team honestly was just unbelievable on that project. Not just getting it back to where we could start again within 6 weeks, working with 8 different insurance companies, all of that, but also just being great community partners and serving the community. It's unreal. We did our topping out party, and we really made it about the community, not about us, not about the project. So, I think that's really served us well over the last 27 years.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Robbie?
John, DeAngelis has existing contracts with us, right? That you're involved in.
Well, we've just completed that contract, yes, on the tower. Yeah, correct.
No, sir, I think one that expires in 25.
Oh,
How engaged are you in that?
Do we still have the continuing services agreement?
No.
I think the tower is the last one. Yeah.
The tower's open for commissioning and a few other items.
Yeah, but most of everything that we have is completed. We're just waiting on FAA to allow you to move in, and then we might be tearing down the other tower here at some point in the future. But that's really all that we have.
Thank you.
You bet.
Anything else? All right, wrap us up.
Okay, well, we've shown you today how we're going to accomplish your goals by leveraging relationships, experience, systems, and technology. But we think as important as how is why. Why is this project so important to us? Well, this is our home, and RSW is our airport and has been integral to so many significant life moments for our family. From my family moving here in 1983 when the existing terminal, the original terminal opened with the green palm frond carpet, to sending our kids off to camp and welcoming them home from college, to bringing our youngest two daughters home from China and being greeted by friends and family with banners and hugs and lots of tears. This is more than an airport to us. This is our airport, and we will achieve the goals of the Port Authority while looking out for the best interests of all the project stakeholders, like we did on the recent air traffic control tower. The Turner DeAngelis Diamond team will achieve your goals and work harder for you than anyone on this most important project for Southwest Florida. Thank you all, and God bless you.
All right, thank you. Next. That's some good questions today. Yeah, let's take 5 minutes while they're setting up.
Outside warm, I'm just addicted to it.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll go ahead and reconvene. Thank you all for that break. Dana, appreciate that. We'll proceed with our third presentation.
Good, okay. Presentation for LOQ 2302, Construction Manager, Terminal Expansion Phase 2, Gates Expansion Project. We have our third and final presenter today. I'd like to introduce to PCL Construction Services, Inc., Rick Goldman, Vice President and District Manager.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Rick Goldman. I'm the Vice President and District Manager for PCL's Florida Buildings Group. We got our team here. With me today is Chris Weber, Project Manager, and Tim Davenport, our General Superintendent. Both Chris and Tim recently spent the past 4 years together delivering the LAX 15-gate midfield terminal project. And then we have Juan Garcia, our Senior Chief Estimator. Juan spent over 20 years with PCL in Florida. He has either supported, led, or supervised all of the aviation projects we've pursued and built within that time frame. If you're looking or following along with the sheet there, it's the same as what's on the board. Okay. So PCL is a 117-year-old, $8 billion a year employee-owned company. What that employee ownership means is a heightened level of accountability and responsibility. We believe it's a differentiator between us and the competition. Basically, we come to work with a heightened responsibility for the decisions we make, which means we're more invested in the success of your project. During this time frame, we've put in place over $11 billion worth of aviation projects throughout North America. Equates to about 4,000 plus projects delivered under the CM agency, CM at risk, and or CMGC delivery methods. We've been active in Southwest Florida for over 20 years. During that time frame, we've established a very robust network of trade relationships, and we pride ourselves on being builders, not brokers. No matter the delivery method, we will plan, schedule, and execute the work as if we were self-performing. Some of the aviation work we've done here in the state of Florida. The past 25 years, we've worked at GOA or MCO, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International, Miami International, and right here at RSW. Not pictured here is some work at TIA, West Palm Beach, as well as Vero Beach Municipal. During this time frame, or actually currently, we've got over $200 million in active projects in Southwest Florida. Looking in the rears, just over $2 billion worth of work put in place. Some of our local owners or clients, City of Cape Coral, FDOT, yourselves, your host hotels, and Mass Mutual. We're also engaged in the community. We support Florida Gulf Coast University and their construction management program through guest lectures, field trips, and even student internships, and ultimately new hires, employment opportunities. Post Hurricane Ian, we partnered with Gladiolis. I knew I was going to mess that up. The food pantry here on a food drive, so that was a very successful engagement there. And then Habitat for Humanity, we support them both on the national and local levels. There's 2 chapters here that we've been a part of. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Weber, our project manager. Chris is PCL's leading aviation expert, leading aviation builder. So Chris, with that.
Thanks, Rick. So a little bit more about myself and what qualifies me to be proposed as your project manager for your expansion. It's in my background in the aviation projects I've done in the past. The first one in the picture on the left there is the Toronto Pearson Airport. It was $3.5 billion. It was 56 gates. It was 3.5 million square feet of floor space, acres and acres of apron. Very complex, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one in a minute. Recently finished the LAX Midfield concourse. It's a $1.5 billion job. It's a concourse that's out in the airfield and tethered to the Bradley terminal by tunnels for passengers and utilities and that kind of thing. So we're right in the middle of the airfield. Again, very, very complex. And the third one is an expansion we did in the ticketing area at GOA. It's a little bit smaller, about 100 million, but really, really tough build. 16 phases is the way it was requested in the bid. Now, that project was lump sum bid. The middle one from LAX was progressive design build. The Toronto one was agency construction management, and I know that's one of the avenues you're considering for your build. So what about the rest of the team? We have our key members here with Tim Davenport, our general superintendent, and Juan Garcia, our pre-construction manager. So what's their experience? Well, Tim and I worked together on LAX, him as a general superintendent, myself as the project director. Tim cut his teeth in the aviation construction world, building the Denver airport. He was the area superintendent there a long time ago. Middle one is me as the project director on Toronto. And there we are, all three of us working together on the Orlando job. Now, I think Juan had the toughest job in Orlando because when that was bid, it was way over budget. And in order for it to go ahead, it had to come down. So Juan had the task as our pre-construction guy to figure out how to get that price down. One thing we did there that sort of demonstrates our ability to think creatively and so on is the owner had it, they were worried about how many ticket counters could be down at one time. That's why they had the 16-phase thing. So we figured out how to do that and give them the same level of service with 8 phases. Shorten the schedule a bit and save some dollars, and that combined with some other stuff that Juan did, we got the price down to a place where they could proceed, and we built it, and another successful project. And all of these were very successful projects. Okay, so we can do large work, we can do work all across the continent, we can do work in Florida, but do we do work at RSW? And yes, we do. 20 years ago, we did the foundation packages for the terminal and the parking garage, and we built your approach road. And I want to compliment your maintenance people. That approach road is in excellent condition. We were really, really pleased to see what that looks like. So nice job. Maybe just a little bit about that self-perform before I go to this next slide. We do that on a what you call it, not a consistent basis. We do it when the moment's right for it, when we have the capacity, when the owner thinks it's right. Certainly it's something we would consider here for your project. When we talk about project delivery, I want to talk about, we don't have a lot of time, so I just want to talk about what our philosophy is. So our philosophy in delivering a project is everything we do is going to make outcomes more certain. It's the certainty of the outcomes that drives everything, mitigating the risk, driving the risk out of the project. And in order to do that, and when I say outcomes, I mean meet the schedule, meet the budget, deliver the quality intended, and above all, do it safely for the public, safely for the workers, safely for the operations of the airport. So how do we do that? What do we do? Some of the points I want to point to on that are experienced staff. You're doing it right now, right? You're picking from a group of 3. You're going to pick the one that you see as the most qualified, most experienced to build your airport. If we were picked, the same thought process follows down. When we pick the rest of our team members from our staff, we're going to pick them use the same criteria, that they have the capability and quality to do the job. It extends then to things like subcontractors or general contractors. When we're bidding, we're vetting them that they can do the job, that they have the performance capability to do it. We don't want anybody on your project that's not qualified. One thing that we find that is very synonymous with a successful project is early engagement of your CM, which is what you're doing. why I think that's important, or why we think that's important, is there needs to be some time where we get to know you, we get to understand how your airport works, we get to understand what's important to you, priorities, that kind of thing, so that when we formulate our plan on how we build your airport, our goals are aligned. And in that process of getting our goals aligned, we become a team. Not just a PCL team and an RSW team and a whole bunch of other teams. We become one team. We become like a greater team that can get things done. We will do things like partnering to make sure that that's encouraged and so on. But we really know that it gets done because we perform. We engage with you. We make commitments. We do what we say we will do. That allows you to have the confidence that we're doing the right thing. You can rely on what we say and do. That's how we build a team that's really successful, can hold each other accountable, that kind of thing. It can do great things. We also know what's really important is that we need to provide you information about decisions you have to make along the path to building your airport. We need to give you options when there's decisions to be made, pros and cons of those options, so that you can make the informed decision, the best decision possible. The other thing that's obviously a really huge, important thing is the price and the budget. And Juan is here from our pre-construction group, so I want to have him explain how we approach that.
Thanks, Chris. And another key success to our projects is leveraging our working relationship with our subcontractor partners, not only to ensure that we have the coverage, the competitive nature to deliver the most competitive price for the project, but ensuring we have a complete price that meets the quality expectations, as well as reducing contingencies and changes on the project. And this includes our local, small, diverse, and minority partnerships. On the screen here, you see just a high level of a few projects of PCL's commitment to including these companies, not only achieving but exceeding the goal. And we do this through a handful of strategies, outreach with the community, as well as workforce, unbundling packages, and assisting them early and often through pre-qualification, insurance, and bonding requirements. Another item we have to keep an eye on is procurement and escalation, something we're addressing on the regular across the board on our projects. And we have strategies in place to ensure we're not only identifying long lead times, but ensuring that we have the manpower needed, analyze the market ahead of time, and locking in those prices early to avoid escalation and making sure that product is on site when we need it to put in place. And with that, coordination with planning and operations is key, and so I'll have the team come back and touch on our planning efforts.
So a little bit about what we're capable of. So this is the project that Tim and I did together, the LAX job. I'm going to use the pointer here. How to do that. Thank you, bud. Okay, so this is the terminal we built in the airfield. You can see that it's surrounded by taxiways here, here, and here. These dashed lines are just representing the tunnels we did across to the Bradley terminal, and they actually had to go all the way to the physical plant. This is the tunnel we had to build to bring the passengers over to the new terminal. So I just want to show you that so you can understand we're right in the middle of it all. There's no airport process system that we don't touch and have to coordinate with to make it happen. We did all of that in 5 years and didn't have one issue where we stopped the airport from doing a process or a function. So we're really proud of that, obviously, and it's that kind of experience that we're bringing to you. Did you want to say anything there, Tim?
Just a couple words on this particular project. The airport authority out there told me that, well, we all know LAX is one of the busiest airports in the world, and every 5 seconds of planes touching down or taking off out of this airport. We managed to be on airside on both sides of us, taxiing airplanes back and forth continually. Those tunnels, there's a little bit more to them than what we're telling you. That's a 30-foot dig across those taxiways. And the little building at the top of the tunnel to the right is the gateway to get there. And we shut down numerous gates, moving planes as we come in and out of there. I think this lends itself well to how we perform in an active airport and keeping this operation moving.
So some more of our past experiences and what we've done. This is the Toronto airport. All this shiny silver stuff was the new stuff. This here, this black mark here, that's the imprint, the foundation of the existing terminal that this replaced. This terminal had to stay functioning while we built this. It was a 4-story terminal with 8 stories of parking on top that all had to stay in place. We created a tunnel that came in to service that existing building while we built this in place. And again, I don't want to get into any more detail than that because I think you can imagine the kind of complexity that would have in terms of logistics. Tim, do you want to talk to the next one here? This one
Upper
here?
right, Fort Lauderdale International, on the other side of the peninsula here. That I know that looks simple. That's a elevated roadway similar to what what you guys are looking for here on an expansion. The difficult part of that was all the active traffic underneath stayed, and there was an existing elevated deck there that we replaced it just due to size and some structural issues. So we put this up while keeping one side open, and then took one side down, put the other side up, brought the other side back down. So we're very accustomed to working in situations like this.
And then this fourth picture here is clearly your elevated roadway that we built some time ago. And this is what the new piece that's going to look like. And we would just love to build this little piece right here. This is a cross section of it. And that would be just awesome. But did you want to say anything else about that one?
No, I think you did
Okay.
that pretty good.
Good. So safety. Safety is important to any contractor. It is extremely important in the PCL world. You can see our EMR there is a 0.52, one of the best in the industry. And just wanted to comment that it not only plays in the obvious benefit of safety and safe working, but it pays financially too, because our insurance rates and so on reflect that performance rating. And Tim, if you can say a few words about it.
Real quick on safety, those are all the processes we do. We're done? Okay.
Oh, is it time already?
Okay.
Goes fast.
Thank you. It does go fast.
We practice a safety culture.
Questions?
Yeah,
John?
could you talk to me a little bit about the scheduling in terms of the project? How you intend to handle the construction vis-a-vis air traffic, passenger traffic, et cetera?
Well, let me talk a lot about scheduling first, about some things that we know are really important to an airport schedule and meeting it. Because we do plan a schedule for an airport a little bit different than most commercial projects. We usually take a forward-looking view of the schedule. We don't look at the end date initially. Take a forward-looking view of the schedule, making maximum use of space and time and the density of work in the building. And we maximize that. Now, what that's doing is giving us an end date that is sort of optimal in terms of trades pricing it and ourselves pricing it. It gives us the optimum for the trade price build, so to speak. That may not be what meets your requirements in terms of an end date. So then we'll look at it and say, okay, where do we have to overlap things? Where would we have to be creative to figure out how to get that to the date that you're looking for, right? So then that fixes that piece of it, but we're not done there. And this is where it gets really different with an airport. The systems are so significant in an airport, and the integration process to make sure that they work and function on that day one the way that everybody wants them to function, the way they're intended to function. It needs to have the building environment in a certain state to make that happen. And that's what we've seen in the past in different places where people build airports, they look finished, but they can't use them because the systems aren't integrated and work. That's happened in the past. And it's because, and people struggle with the systems because they haven't figured out how to get the system work started at the time that it takes to do all of that. So when we look at that, what we're identifying is what times do the IT rooms have to be in place? When do the cable paths have to be in place to make it function? That doesn't always work with the efficient build of the building. So sometimes we have to do temporary measures. Sometimes we have to do dedicated pathways, that kind of thing, to make that infrastructure have the sufficient time to do it and do it in a planned, methodical way that's efficient and gives everybody, including your people, the time to test it and make sure it works right. So that's the most important thing for us about scheduling in an airport. So, but I don't think that was actually your question. You wanted to know about how do we interrelate to the aircraft and that kind of thing? How do we?
Well, what I'm concerned about is during construction, how you plan, if you have any special ideas on how to ensure that air traffic is not,
Right.
I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that air traffic is not bothered, if you will. In
Right.
addition to the fact that you're gonna have, I don't know how many laborers and certainly a lot of material and equipment coming to and from the construction site. And that has the possibility of hampering the traffic of those coming to the airport and those not coming to the airport, but trying to use the roads where you've got this material
see
in
what you're asking.
particular. So have you thought about that? And
Yeah. So you're asking about how would we plan the logistics
yeah,
to
inside with
isolate
air
that
traffic,
stuff?
outside with our customers
Yeah,
and citizens.
So ideally, in any airport, we want to take your piece of property there where you're building your terminal. We want to make it landside. So we would want to rearrange your security fence if it works for you. If it doesn't, we build it airside like we did in LAX. But ideally, it's landside because it's more efficient and it costs less. So we would rework the perimeter fence, the security fence, so that the entire property was landside. We would then isolate it from your approach road connection there, and we would access it from probably I don't know what direction it is, the west side of the property from Cargo Road, that area down there. We would want to be coming in the sort of the back way of the airport, right, to enter that piece of property. Now, we need to work out those logistics with you and your people, and that's what that alignment piece is how does the airport work? What do you prefer? What can you live with? What can't you live with? And then when you tell us maybe you can't live with something that we think is a good idea because it would pay off in pricing, then we say, okay, well, we can do this and we can do it that way, but it might impinge on the price if we do that, or if we can do this, that's relieved. So we'd go through all those permutations and combinations of what we could do and can't do. But the ideal would be that we isolate all of us from any airside piece, because you have basically a standalone concourse, right, that should be able to be isolated, and which is the ideal in building any airport. This is not always possible, but that would be the ideal. Did that help?
Okay, the other question I have is your subcontractors. How familiar do you feel and how successful do you feel you will be using subcontractors? In particular, because in our particular labor economy, as probably many, we do have labor shortages, significant labor shortages. So what would you do to consider that?
Well, there's a couple of things with that. Number one, we do want to respect our local economy, right? And where possible, and they're capable, direct work to them. I mean, everybody would probably be interested in that. So, but again, that priority of being capable is paramount. So we would look farther afield. We would look to the West Coast, Central Florida, if we need to bring somebody else that has capacity, if we don't have the capacity here. But the way I see it is your job's going to be a very attractive one. It's going to be one that just about everybody here keys on as an opportunity, right? So as it may be difficult to get people right now for some of the projects that are maybe happening currently, this is going to be a very attractive project to most people, and they're going to target it. And Juan, you might want to add to this, and if you could add a few words.
Yeah, just to add on, workforce is important to me. With my role as vice chair on the ABC board in Central Florida, I also chair the workforce council there, understanding this issue exactly. And so we are huge partners with ABC, been members there since we've been in the state of Florida, across the state, and leveraging their training, their partnerships with PIPE and ACA and iBuild, ACT, ACE. We also host those in our office with the high school children bringing them in through the program, through college, bringing them through internships. We also have a PCL yard that we leverage as a training ground, not only classroom training, but hands-on training where we're bringing in form work, bringing in electrical components so they can touch it, feel it, see it, do some training there. So we're taking every avenue possible internally, as well as partnering with local organizations to ensure that we keep people coming into our industry, train them properly, and get them out to the field to work.
Sure, go
I
ahead.
understand your question right. We have a lot of success, not just here in Florida and Central and South Florida, but across the country in the fact that everybody's seeing these labor crunches. And we've been pretty successful at like, for instance, we'll break this. The drywall package maybe has 4 different drywallers because each company has a core group they use and they're not going to lose them. So if I put 3 in there versus the 1, I can gain the workforce manpower I need to meet the demands of the schedule we want to put together so we can satisfy your date. And that is one thing that we look at heavily as we start going through there. You know, if this becomes a structural steel building, how many structural steel guys can we put, and where's a break line we can do it so they come both directions. We don't overload one individual contractor. We bring in 2 or 3, and we can get more workforce on the site actually by doing that versus trying to pile it on one guy. That's a tool we use.
Okay. That's it for me.
Down there?
Okay.
All right. Where's your company headquartered? I didn't hear that.
The main headquarters is in Edmonton, Canada.
Uh-huh.
And our U.S. office is in Denver, Colorado, and we're working for the Florida office.
Super.
For the Orlando.
Let's see, what else was I gonna ask you? I had something, all the questions that went through my mind. I'm getting old, and my foot's hurting.
No
I broke it. Let's see, okay. I've been asking everybody, the project manager, who would be that? You're the
That's
actual
me.
project manager.
That's
So
me.
obviously you
I'll be
built
here.
like that Pearson Airport, you
Yes.
built the whole airport, right?
Yes,
So you feel comfortable
absolutely.
building this as
I-
the PM? Because you'd
I-
be the
I-
face with our staff and the
Yeah,
day-to-day
I'd be
interaction.
The guy that you're talking to every day.
Right, right.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? Wrap us up.
So again, thank you all again for the opportunity to present to you today. We've proposed our leading team of aviation builders. We feel they're the best in the industry. They're going to provide you with the expert planning, the strategic procurement, the trade relationships, and the schedule and cost certainty that are going to make this job successful. And we'd love to be a part of it. So I ask that you give us that opportunity. So thank you again for the time.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. All right. All right. So, discussion from the committee?
The only thing I'd say is 3 excellent choices. I mean,
Oh,
all 3 were excellent. Staff did a great job sorting through these. It's just fantastic.
yeah, I don't think we can go wrong, but,
Just gotta look at the strength.
huh?
The strength and the access to the subcontractors and the products and getting it all done.
I think it's important.
Very,
All right, well, if everybody, no more questions, you want to go ahead and mark your rankings? Okay, where's our rankings? All right, while they're collecting those,
And my pen. Yeah.
Ben, you got some director?
Well, Mr. Chair, we had one more agenda item.
Oh, yeah, we brought it to the back. I'm sorry.
No,
Been
no
such a
problem.
long
No
meeting.
problem.
Emily?
Emily, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Emily.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Don't want to interrupt the voting. All right, administrative agenda item number 25. The Port Authority currently holds 2 continuing contracts with architectural and engineering for projects that have a construction-related cost for under $4 million. These 3-year contracts are set to expire on June 25th, 2023. Over the last 2.5 years under the current term, the dollar total of assigned tasks to the 2 firms, which includes fees to sub-consultants, totaled approximately $1,150,238. Actual fees earned by the 2 A&E firms themselves totaled about $740,533 combined. In anticipation of the current contract expirations, staff advertised a request of letters of qualifications to select 2 new A&E consultants to work on similar projects for a new year 3-year term from 2023 through 2026. As a result, 8 valid proposals were received. In order to assist you in your evaluation, Port Authority staff held a public meeting to review the submitted responses, and proposal summaries are included in your backup. Staff also scored the proposals from best to least based on criteria including concurrent workload, as well as project experiences of the proposed project manager and their respective firm. As a result, staff recommends that the Airport Special Management Committee shortlist the firms as scored by staff and hear oral presentations by the top 3 firms. And those firms scored are number 1, Michael Baker International, Inc., number 2, Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering, and number 3, RSNH, Inc. So we ask that you hear these oral presentations at a future meeting before presenting a recommended ranking to the board. And if you are in agreement, I would ask Melissa to come forward and randomly select the order of presentations. Otherwise, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. I guess I'd need a motion to hear them if we're going to.
Go ahead, Nelson, you go.
Okay. I move that we accept the staff's recommendation for the 3 firms to be considered under item number 25.
Good. Second? Mr. Second over here today.
And
It's my job.
was that motion that we would
That we
take
do
the
hear the
3 and
presentation.
That we
Okay,
accept their
everybody clear?
recommendation for top 3.
Any discussion on that motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, well,
All right. There she is.
the people.
All right. If
Let
you would-
Dana, he's done such a good job
He
today.
randomly
does want to
select
move
the
his.
order of presentation.
Okay. RS&H.
RSNH will be number 1 to present. Infrastructure
I-
Consulting and Engineering, PLLC, will be second to present. And Michael Baker International. Thank you very much.
I think that was opposite of the way you said them. All right, now Ben, sorry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, thank you. Just got a few brief comments here. Announcement on some new service that you may have read recently, but Breeze Airways did recently announce new service to Hartford, Connecticut, and Providence, Rhode Island. These flights, the flights to Hartford will start May 17th and will operate twice weekly. The flights to Providence will start July 13th and will operate 3 times weekly. These are very popular destinations and usually only operate nonstop during the winter season, so we're pretty excited about having the year-round service to both these cities. For the month of January, we did finish in the top, basically number 33 busiest airport in the country out of the top 40 for TSA throughput, which was a little surprising for us. It was a little higher than what we may have thought because, you know, we have had a drop in flights and seats for the month, but we are experiencing very high load factors. And we did surpass some bigger airports like Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, Chicago Midway, and Sacramento, California over this past month. So that was interesting to see. And for those of you that had not seen the news press article, there's a digital publication called Travel Lens that featured, you know, high quality travel articles about, you know, destinations, hotels, restaurants, and airports of such, and announced that RSW was the #1 airport out of the top 50 busiest airports in the U.S. we're all very excited about that, and that's really a testament to really all of our employees and the hard work that they do. So we were very excited to receive that outstanding ranking, and it was based on 4 categories, which included security wait times, passenger satisfaction levels, Google review ratings, CO2 emissions per passenger. RSW scored an 8.06 out of a possible 10 points. The next closest airport was John Wayne in Orange County, California, with a 7.96, followed by Portland International Airport with a 7.86. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right. Port Authority?
No items,
Attorney?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, sorry. Comments from the chair? That's me now, sorry. I do want to say this, like today's an exceptionally long meeting for us, and first off, thanks for everybody sitting through it, but the amount of work that goes in from our side balances the amount of work that the presenters gave. And so it's a collaborative effort no matter what. And we have the #1 airport in the country, and we're so proud of them and what they accomplish. And we do it month after month after month. I've been here 7 years, and all it's done is getting better. That's all it's done in the 7 years, bigger and better, and still we're going to get bigger and better. So, Ben, I just can't give you enough compliments with your staff and what you guys do.
Great team.
And that's all I have to say. Any other comments from the committee?
Just one thing. This November, the United States Air Force Thunderbirds return to Southwest Florida for the Florida International Air Show. It's an all-volunteer organization, and we are looking for help. So if anybody's interested in getting on board with the air show, please reach out to me.
Super.
Great, thank you. And then, Melissa?
You want to publish the results?
I think they'd like to know.
While she's going up there, is there any public comments? I didn't think so.
Okay, I have the privilege of closing out the meeting today.
Thank you.
Reading into the record the results in reference to LOQ 2302, Construction Manager for Southwest Florida International Airport Terminal Expansion Phase 2, Gates Expansion Project. So, the top-ranked firm today is Turner DeAngelis Diamond. The second-ranked firm is Suffolk Wright Team, and PCL is the third-ranked firm.
Super. All right.
Well, I believe, Mr. Attorney, we need a motion to accept it, right?
We need a motion for that.
Yep.
Yes.
I will move to accept the results of the ranking as presented.
Mr. Second.
Need a second.
All right. All right, is there any other comments on the motion?
I would just like to say they were all extremely, extremely qualified.
And I guarantee the vote was
Would encourage
very, very close.
continuation to
Had to
come
be.
forth.
All right, any call question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, move, adjourn.